On the broadcast tonight, tourism officials looking for even more visitors this year.
Also ahead, consumers owe BEC millions and those payment plans could soon be blacked out.
And we're swimming with the dolphins here at Atlantis. Make sure watch and this could be one of the prizes that you win. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Now in HD. ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight. This portion of the news brought to you by BTC Every Day.
2 million visitors came to the Bahamas last year, and the Ministry of Tourism is looking to boost that record number this year. Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight from the Atlantis Resort. I'm Keishla Adderley.
And I'm Andrew Knowles. It's good to have you joining us. It's very appropriate that we're visiting the Atlantis Resort as these numbers come out, as Atlantis is one of the biggest touristic draws in the country. And as Clint Watson tells us, the tourism minister outlined how his team will not only go after new markets, but will grow and improve the existing product.
If we're going to make our industry successful, then we have to go after ensuring that we have the inventory, we have the airlift, and of course the product.
Tourism Minister Obi Wilchcombe is confident on what needs to be done to grow the tourism sector from its record-breaking figures of 6.2 million visitors to levels unprecedented for our region. Sunwing has made an impact once again by opening up the Canadian market with several key gates from that country to Grand Bahama.
We'll see new gates open up in the United States during the summer months, again with Sunwing working side by side. And of course, the BRIC countries are very important to us. That's Brazil, Russia, India, China. Very important because they're the emerging markets of the world. The IDB has been working with us, and the IDB is assisting us in ensuring that we can get some airlift direct from Brazil. And of course, we've spoken about China, because now with the reciprocal agreement with the Chinese, it's going to make life much better. But what we have to do is cause for the Chinese to understand where and what the Bahamas is all about.
Sports and religious tourism continuing to prove beneficial for the Bahamas' tourism product.
We have been invited to meetings with major sporting organizations all over the world. Of course, religious tourism is always paying huge dividends for the Bahamas, and group numbers are up again. And so we're making progress, but not enough, and we're continuing to push.
The Bahamas has become a leader in cruise passengers, but that doesn't necessarily transfer into on-the-ground spending. The focus will be on strengthening the product so visitors have more than enough activities to engage in, which, once marketed correctly, translate into dollars. And with the interest of investors to build world-class resorts, the focus will be on getting heads in beds.
I'm very concerned about the spend. So whilst you have the good numbers, you still have to get the spend. And our emphasis on now ensuring that we are having occupancy levels high. That's fundamentally important.
The minister says the work now begins, and with Bahamas set to open later this year, they've got to fill those rooms. And he says it's about improving the product and ensuring that we get people to come and visit this destination. Clint Watson, ZNS Network News.
Investor confidence continues to grow for the Bahamas. This evidenced by last week's Global Financial Summit hosted here at the Atlantis Resort. One of only 2 Bahamian speakers and the only black woman to address that summit was Gaydeen McLean. She's an advisor for investors and author of the book Why Invest in the Bahamas. She gives the reasons why investors are looking to the Bahamas is because of the country's strong financial footing.
Our country itself has also always had solid financial stability. We've been a democratic nation for over 300 years. And when investors are looking, they're looking for sound and solid practices. They're looking for somewhere where they can invest their money and it be protected. Yes, Dr. Skousen? Oh, yeah. And I think they're also looking for somewhere where their money itself is protected. And so I do believe that coming here to the Bahamas and investing here, I think people find those 2 key areas very important to them. And it is my hope that we stay like that as a nation when it comes to investment protection and when it comes to investment opportunities, attracting people here via our concessions, and also making this nation filled with educational professionals that investors feel comfortable that we can work with their millions.
BEC Chairman Leslie Miller says the government may have to rethink the payment plan it offered delinquent consumers in the interest of saving precious dollars for the corporation. He told ZNS News today that mounting arrears show no sign of receding.
We have some $125 to $127 million on accounts receivable. We all owe BEC a lot of money.
That sum includes the arrears of some 4,000 consumers who are without power. And Miller says those outstanding bills range between $800 and $15,000. And combine that with a steep monthly fuel bill, Miller says that could short-circuit the corporation's finances.
We got to start turning off lights. For those persons who continually not step to the plate to start to pay something on their arrears, we pay Shell West as much as $30 million per month for our fuel. If you don't pay the bill, you don't get the fuel, and the entire country is out of light. Therefore, I'm begging all of our customers to try to step to the plate, to try to keep their current bills current, and to try to pay something on their past due account.
Speaking to commercial arrears, Miller says, fortunately, some of the biggest players have been faithful.
Hotels would probably owe easily about $70 million of that for the hotels, all of them collectively.
And you're talking about just this year?
No, that's accumulation. No, all these bills are old bill. Mm-hmm. Our best customer in the hotel business is Atlantis. We really thank them. In fact, Atlantis calls us before as soon as they get their bill. End of the month, they will call and say, come pick up your check. That could vary anywhere from $4.5 million to $6 million. Rupert Roberts, Super Value, is another one of our top-class customers where you get your check every month, and we thank him for that.
In other news tonight, State Minister for Finance Michael Halkitis today reacted to the Bahamas Union of Teachers' opposition to the value-added tax proposal.
Yesterday, the BUT released 20 concerns on why it's opposed to VAT. It's concerned with the clarity of revenue, how the deficit occurred, and steps to ensure the problems does not repeat.
Now, the minister said a number of concerns raised would be answered through consultation sessions, but he said he had concerns specifically with the position continually arising that there's a need for fiscal reform. The idea government isn't doing anything to curtail its expenditure.
He maintains that government has a plan in place for fiscal reform.
Nothing could be further from the truth. We've made significant investments in real property tax department and the customs department to modernize those so we can better collect the revenue. And we have made tremendous efforts in terms of expenditure restraint. You remember last year when we did the medium-term fiscal strategy and asked all departments to trim their budgets. So it's not as if it's VAT and nothing else has changed. This is part of a comprehensive plan that we keep talking about. You cannot tax your way out of the situation. Growth, of course, would have an element. You cannot just decide that, okay, we're going to indiscriminately cut government expenditure, because that would have an effect on the economy. So you have to take it all in a package.
Women parliamentarians within the governing party lambasted opposition deputy leader Loretta Butler Turner over comments she made about them being silent when it comes to the rape epidemic against women in the country. Today, those parliamentarians held a press conference at the House of Assembly to address the claims. Minister of Social Services and Community Development, the Honorable Melanie Griffin, says the government has several programs to address the issue of violent crimes against women and children. Griffin says she's appalled by Butler Turner's response to statistics released by the Bahamas Crisis Center between 2006 to 2010, which occurred during Butler Turner's tenure as Social Services Minister.
Statistics indicated that there were 1,299 cases of sexual abuse cases reported to the police, and all of the victims being children under the age of 16. And during that same period, there were 585 reported cases of rape. Let's do the math. If we're talking about 2006, okay, that was under the PLP government. 2007, 3 months, would have been under the PLB government. 2008, 2009, 2010. The majority of that time would have been under the former administration, and in fact, when Mrs. Turner was in the seat.
Chairman of the Commonwealth Women's Parliamentary Association for the region and Minister of Transport and Aviation Glenys Hannah Martin called the attack deceptive and hypocritical and asked that Butler Turner make a public apology to all women, especially in politics.
My concern is this: when you consider what this branch was about and what our efforts was about, is that she reinforced the stereotype that women are fighting against every day in this country, that sees women as weak targets, which is precisely what we are fighting against in the political realm. And she reinforced that. I want to put that on the record. And I want to say that it is perverse and obscene that a woman and a mother who serves in public life would use the ugly, heinous, and insidious issue of rape, that every woman has embodied in their minds in fear because of what we know is happening in that country, that a woman and a mother and a woman in public life would use that as an issue for political purposes.
Deputy Prime Minister Philip Davis says over the past few days, an intense discussion has been ongoing via social media and the international and local press regarding a report out of the United Kingdom of the discovery of 13 rock iguanas in the luggage of 2 women arriving from Nassau. He says the story is troubling in many ways. Now, these animals are an endangered species living in isolation. They actually run away from intruders, and he says to secure 13 animals and remove them from San Salvador in secrecy seems a daunting task. Mr. Davis says further that the atrocious act was compounded because the endangered species were taken out of the country to a foreign country by 2 women, with the explanation apparently being offered by them to British officials that they were in the process of delivering them to a third party in Germany. The Deputy Prime Minister is concerned that they probably had assistance from someone resident in San Salvador and or in New Providence. Now, Mr. Davis says he's anxious over the fact that this criminal act is fully investigated and that all parties involved in this despicable act on our natural heritage is dealt with by law enforcement. He asserts that we must all play our part in protecting our national heritage.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, find out where it all goes down at Dolphin Key at the Atlantis Resort.
In our first look live from Marina Village at Paradise Island, all the yachts behind me are filling those slips, and they're here simply enjoying our gorgeous weather. We have clear skies, temperature 77 degrees, your relative humidity 74%. Winds are calm, barometric pressure 1,016.4 millibars. That's 30.01 inches, and it is steady. But stay tuned, temperatures around the Family Islands, travel and boating forecast is still to come.
Well, still to come, take a ride with the Dolphins and our Janae Noel Ferguson. It's one of the prizes you can watch and win.
And the Crime Forum seeks to find the root cause of national problems. You're watching The Bahamas Tonight.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Shell Quality Fuels.